ESBR Boxing. We're back, myself and my compatriot, my friend, my colleague, Paul Kelly. That means only one thing. That means we are in preview mode. But before we get into the fight we're previewing today, I'd just like to say, please like and subscribe to the channel, comment on the videos, etc., etc. Let us know. Obviously, your feedback will help us refine things going forward. But we have all your boxing needs under one roof. So check out the reviews, previews, and interviews with fighters. Obviously, everything that we've got coming through there. Paul, thank you very much for joining me. As stated, we are in preview mode. We're at Wembley Stadium. Obviously, another headlined, obviously, by one of your favourites, Santi Joshua. But we're actually previewing a fight here which involves another of your favourites. We're in EVU European middleweight title action. Tyler Denny versus Hamzah Sheeraz. Obviously, I won't have to, introduce either fighter to you, Paul, especially Tyler Denny. And as we like to do, we don't necessarily like to break down the records too much, do we, at this stage when it comes to the fight. We like to just get straight into it. And the question I'm going to ask you really is, to start off this video, is now Hamzah Sheeraz, despite not actually being a fully fledged champion in the middleweight division, I look at that division, I think maybe not the strongest division. I think it's probably fair to say across boxing circles. But you've got Janabek in there, obviously as a champion. You've got Carlos Adames in there as a champion. Erislandy Lara, who's in there, obviously despite being quite advanced as a champion as well. Do you actually think there's an argument to be made here that Sheeraz might possibly be the best in the world at middleweight, even though he doesn't currently have a belt in that division?
Oh, yeah, thanks for having me on, mate. I mean, it is an interesting one, isn't it? It's like, when you look at, I know he's high up in all of the governing bodies rankings. Again, they're not official, but you go on to Box Rec or something like that, and he's number two ranked only behind Charlo, who we don't even know if we'll see fight at middleweight again. So, aside from the champions, you look at it and think, he's probably in most people's eyes the best non-champion. So whether or not I'm going to sit here and say he's the best middleweight in the world, I don't think I can yet. I think he's still got another, has to prove a couple of things to me. For a start, he has to beat what's in front of him on September 21st. And then after that, if he was to be successful, maybe I would assume that the winner of this fight anyway will probably get a world title shot next. What I don't know what situation with the belts. Obviously, Janabek has a couple. Adames has one, as you mentioned. Excuse me, Erislandy Lara having one as well. So yeah, I can see why people would say that potentially. And I kind of liken this to, Brandon Figueroa at the featherweight division. A lot of people have him as the number one, but despite being one of, not having the belt and four others having a belt, but people would still back him to beat them. That could probably be the case with Hamzah Sheeraz. A lot of people would back him to beat Erislandy Lara. A lot of people would back him to beat Carlos Adames, especially after his last couple of performances against, Amo Williams for a start. Even the Mitrofanov fight away in Poland on the Usyk Dubois undercard. Liam Williams blew him away with like a couple of punches. It was crazy. So yeah, I do see where people are coming from with that, and I see the point of the question. But personally, I can't sit here and say he's the best middleweight in the world. Not yet, anyway. No.
Yeah, it is an interesting one because, like I said, the division is quite light, I think. And you look at Janabek's kind of record as well, and there's like I said, Bentley and Diggum and Hassan Dam and that on there. So not in many ways actually the best record for someone that's, I suppose, considered out and out probably the best champion in that division. I look at Hamzah Sheeraz, 6'3", 25 years old, obviously like peaking, obviously got power, but massive at the weight as well. 16 KOs in 20. Bradley Skeet fight quite a long time ago, but I suppose there's a little bit of doubt there when he steps up again, how he'll necessarily fare. But I mean, massive obviously victory last time out, wasn't there, against Austin Williams, huge victory. And then Liam Williams obviously on past his best, but also at that stage going to that fight again, that's still a step up for him, and he handled him very easily. So for me, I can see why I really can see why the
Yeah.
argument's made. And with Lara's age as well, obviously Lara's had a fantastic career, but you look at his age as well. I think I'd be honest with you, mate. If someone was to sit in the pub next to me over a cheese and onion packet of crisps and put their arm around me and say Hamzah Sheeraz is the best middleweight in the world, I wouldn't laugh them at the pub. I really wouldn't. I would say possibly, maybe he should be, but I think it really comes down to him and Janibek, to be perfectly honest with you. So at the moment, I'll edge Janibek just because he is the champion as well, and probably give him that respect. But I think it really is between those two. But let's move our attentions really. I suppose we'll keep a focus on Sheeraz, but we'll bring in your man Tyler Denny here. Obviously had a very impressive, win last time out against Felix Cash. Obviously other victories, I suppose you'd say Brad Pauls, McCauley McGowan, so guys that are kind of below necessarily world level, but maybe sort of European level fighters as well. So the question I'm going to ask you really is, were we to beat Hamzah Sheeraz, and with the sort of build up we've given Sheeraz as potentially the best fighter in the middleweight division, if not the best, how big of an upset would you rank this as, Paul? I mean, is this for you a massive upset? Maybe you could just give us, without going into our predictions, the sort of ahead of the fight, the sort of percentages of how likely you think a Denny upset could be, maybe from a betting angle as well, please.
Yeah, I mean, look, make no mistake. Hamzah Sheeraz is the favorite. We all know that he's the favorite, and we know why he's the favorite. It's that's completely fair enough. A lot of people are expecting him to win this fight, and he might well do. He might well do. But in terms of ranking this as a massive upsets, it probably would be a huge upset in some people's eyes. But see, like if you're Tyler Denny, you're like, right, well, I've been the odd betting underdog in like six of my last seven fights or whatever it is, and I've won them all. You know what I mean? It's like it's water off a duck's back to him now at this stage. Me, as you know, as someone who has a good relationship with Tyler and has interviewed him countless times and whatever. I would not be surprised. I wouldn't see it as a huge upset. Yeah, it's an upset. He's an underdog and who would be beating a fairly heavy favorite. It would definitely be seen as an upset. But you look at it and think he's the one with the belt. He's the one that's the European champion. Yes, maybe not. Doesn't have the standout name of like an Amo Williams on his record, but he beat Felix Cash last time out. Yeah, it went down. It's a technical decision. That was only going to go one way. Tyler Denny, not known as a massive puncher, but he probably was going to get Cash out of there. Cash is lucky that I'm sitting here saying it was lucky that it was a technical decision, but that fight was only going one way. Felix Cash is a guy who, remember, a few years ago everyone was talking about be a future world champion. Dealt with him easily. Yes, Signani old, but had been a long reigning European champion. Underdog against even River Wilson Bent. Going back to that, Brad Ray was meant to knock him out. You know what I mean? People all like that. He was meant to lose those fights, Tyler Denny, and he didn't. So an upset, yes, definitely, because percentage wise, I think I'd say most people are giving this a 70-30, even a 75-25 for Sheeraz. An upset it would be, but would I be overly surprised? Absolutely not.
You know what, Paul? I am very, very aroused thinking about these predictions for this fight, which we're going to get onto in a second. But I am trying to think where on that scale you were talking about. Am I 75? Am I 70? Am I 60 sort of five? I actually think Denny's equipped himself really well, to be honest with you. But I'd still probably have this for me as a sort of 65, sort of 35, maybe 70-30 kind of leaning towards Hamzah Sheeraz. Just mostly, again, on the power that Sheeraz carries and the size that he carries as well. I think it's just a real problem. So I make him heavy favourite. But we are going to not waste too much time to listen to me. We're going to go back to you here because we're going to talk about predictions. Predictions for this fight. So yeah, as you mentioned, Tyler Denny, 19-2-3 record with one KO on that record. So I mean, unlikely, I suppose, to stop Hamzah Sheeraz. So if again, Denny, we may be thinking points. But if Hamzah Sheeraz, on the other hand, 16 KOs in 20, do we see a Sheeraz KO? Do we see Denny points? Paul, the floor is yours. Where are you going, please, with this one, please?
Do you think I can sit here after all I've said and after the countless interviews over the years and that I can really write off Tyler Denny? Absolutely not. I mean, it's probably coming as no surprise to anyone, but it wouldn't surprise me if Hamza Sheeraz won this fight. I'm not, I'm 100%. It would not surprise me if he won this fight, even via stoppage to the body or whatever. Do you think I can sit here and predict a Hamza Sheeraz victory? I don't think so. I do not think so. I'm going Tyler Denny to win this. I think, mate, he's just got better every time a better fighter has been put in front of him. He's risen to the level. Felix Cash was meant to be a step way too far, and he handled him. He just handled him. He's very difficult to fight, Tyler Denny. That southpaw stance. He's not just any ordinary southpaw. He just seems to have a way with it where he just works for him, and he's able to pull off these so-called upsets time and time again. Whether or not Hamza Sheeraz is a step too far, I'm sure we'll find out. But if he is to lose, there's no disgrace in that. He's expected to lose again. But I'm backing him to win this, mate, proving people wrong again. And yeah, there's a big size difference and all of that. But I just think Tyler Denny has the tools. But remember, these two have sparred a lot of rounds together before as well. And I think he's got the tools to really, really throw the cat amongst the pigeons and throw his name into the hat for a world title shot next. So yeah, Tyler Denny points, mate. What about you?
You know, you have not disappointed me there. When you were talking about that, I was almost casting my mind. You were talking about people rising to levels, sort of fighting within themselves, maybe. And I actually thought you were talking maybe about Dimitri Bivol there. So Dimitri Denny on points is what you were going with, and I'm gonna back Shiraz. I'm gonna back Shiraz. I'm gonna go for the straight down the line. But I have been wrong many times before. And to be honest with you, I'll be happy to be wrong here. just to see the reaction that it would garner from yourself particularly. But I think I'm going to go stoppage, Hamzah Sheeraz stoppage. To be honest with you, I actually reckon it'll be first half of the fight. I really do. I think it's just such a proposition at middleweight with that size and the power that he carries. The people he's been in with, in comparison to, I know there's been some fantastic victories for Tyler Denny, but I almost feel like Tyler Denny for me is a kind of European level fighter, maybe fringe world title, but not necessarily. Whereas I think Hamzah Sheeraz is world level, possibly world title level sort of fighter. So no disgrace, as you said there, for Tyler Denny if he does come up short against Hamzah Sheeraz. But I really feel like Sheeraz with the momentum and experience he's got now will stop Denny. And I think I'm going to go somewhere sort of around sort of 4-5, maybe 4's a bit harsh, maybe sort of 5-6. I think he'll get to him and get him out of there. But Paul, thank you very much for your time. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Let us know in the comments whether you agree with myself or Paul on how you see this fight going. Also, let us know, where you see Sheeraz really in the middleweight division, the landscape there. Is he a champion? Is he the best in the division? Is he not? And also where you think a Tyler Denny win, were it to happen, where Paul, to be celebrating on the 21st, where that would rank in terms of an upset. And also, as we said at the top of the video, please like and subscribe. Paul, thank you very much for joining me. And guys, as always, thank you very much for watching.
Cheers, mate. All the best.